Okay, Nate, today you wanted to have a chat about the Cashless Society.
Yeah. Well, I've been reading a couple of articles about how we are moving towards this. I've read that some of the banks are moving towards making some moves towards ending cash deposits and ending cash withdrawals. That experts have said that they suspect that Australia may be almost effectively entirely cashless within the next 20 to 30 years, perhaps sooner. So it does seem as though we are, and as we've seen more and more other payment options have become available. People can pay with their phones now. Me and one of my support workers were talking the other day about how you can already get a chip implanted in this part of your skin, which can unlock your doors if you have a smart house, and you can swipe it in. You can pay for things. Some people are going to be doing that. They're going to be getting chips in them. Really, it's rather harmless to get a chip in here that lets you open your door. It's not dangerous in any way. But there are all sorts of other payment methods. But yeah, more and more people are abandoning cash and not using cash anyway. But I think it's a huge step to move completely towards to legislating for the government to legislate that we're going to abandon cash completely. I think that's a huge step. Now, one thing I'm not sure about, a lot of people are saying who are complaining about cashless society, they are saying that cashless society means that the government is going to be able to see all your transactions and all your records. Now, my immediate thinking about that is I don't know the law, but I think it might be wrong, because what I think is there will certainly be then, from this point of cashless society, there will be a digital record of every payment you make. That's for sure. The banks will be able to see that record. Now, whether the state and the authorities, police, Australian Federal Police and ASIO can see those records is another question, because to some extent we do have right to privacy in this country, and the state can't always immediately invade the privacy of your personal life and your data and stuff. So I think, but I think as if they suspect you of any wrongdoing in Australia, I pretty much think that the law says the police and the authorities, the Australian Federal Police and ASIO, can look at whatever they want of your records if they feel they have justified reason to. But what I want to say about surveillance is, my view is we have all these laws in this country that says that the government can access all your data and can look at your transaction records and your bank records and spy on what you're spending your money on. But I really think they don't really do that unless they think you're a terrorist threat, you're going to plant a bomb or kill people, or unless you're a massive agitator or a massive social activist. Those are the people they look at. They don't look at people who are just going about their lives. So, it's that old argument of, if you're not doing wrong, you shouldn't have anything to hide. And that is the view of the Australian government. If you're not doing anything wrong, you shouldn't have anything to hide, so we should have permission to look at all of your information. The government's already spying on all of your transactions and spying on you anyway. But I really think they only really focus on people who they feel are a genuine terrorist threat or are a major agitator. But certainly in this country, the government does have the right to look at whatever records of yours they want if they feel you're a threat. The government of Australia doesn't really respect personal privacy, and if people don't realise that, but look into what the laws say. It's quite clear that the authorities, the security community, and the Australian Federal Police can access your data of your records and transactions and online behaviour whenever they want, if they feel you're doing something wrong. So there isn't this right to privacy in this country. There is to some extent. Go and look into it, because that's what it all comes down to, is privacy laws and how much privacy we have in this country. Now, I do think there's a natural progression with technology, because I view technology as a part of nature. I view that a species becomes intelligent enough to create technology and also has manipulators that allow them to use tools, and then they progress to development. And my view basically is that the Industrial Revolution and the technology boom is natural, and that will happen in other worlds, other planets and other species will go through their own industrial revolution, that this is a course that evolution takes as species become more intelligent and that have manipulators to manipulate tools. So with that in mind, I think it is a natural progression which you would expect. If you look at what's been happening since the Industrial Revolution, you would expect it would be a natural progression with computers and the internet and technology, that eventually we would go completely cashless. Now, I think in Star Trek they have this. They're like this. They're cashless in Star Trek. Everything is digital. I can't remember. I haven't watched Star Trek in a while. How they actually make payments, but they certainly don't handle any cash in Star Trek. So Star Trek is a digital currency, presumably. I'd have to go and watch Star Trek again. It's been a while. But you can think, if you imagine a highly advanced species, they probably wouldn't have cash anymore. Everything probably would be done on computers and digital. So I do see it as a natural progression of technology and development. So I don't know if it's a bad thing. I certainly think the government's already, if you understand the rules in Australia, the government's already spying on everyone they want to, who they think is a threat and worth spying on. So you already have that to be worried about. The bank can already look at your transaction records. The state can already look at your transaction records. So it's nothing new. Now, the other thing I want to say about cashless society is it will abolish the black market. There's not going to be any more buying ice or buying crack or buying pot or ecstasy. All of that is just going to fall apart. The gangs are going to completely fall apart when society goes cashless, because all their trade is in cash, except for some of these guys trade in digital, like crypto coins and stuff as well. And that's the other thing you've got to consider. If we go cashless, other currencies can emerge. Like organised crime could bring out their own currency, which would then serve the needs of their market. But really, I think the cashless society is going to destroy organised crime and the drug trade. And I really feel at this point, like, if we go cashless in Australia before cannabis is legalised, I want to lead a march on Canberra, because I'm not going to be satisfied, because I don't see that it should be a problem that I smoke cannabis. So if we go cashless all of a sudden and I can't get my cannabis anymore because it's illegal, I'm going to march on Canberra and demand the right to purchase cannabis legally. So I personally want to see us legalise cannabis before we go cashless, because I want to smoke it and I smoke it, and that's not changing. But yeah, we're definitely going to see that cashless society will abolish the drug trade. Many people think that's a good thing. I don't. Look, I agree with following the law as well, but I think people should be able to have MDMA. And people have a lot of fun on MDMA. If it's safely produced, there won't be any overdoses. So, I believe people should be able to smoke cannabis. So when you talk about cashless society destroying the black market, like, I'm actually just a bit disappointed, because now all these decent people who do take ecstasy and smoke cannabis, they're just going to have to miss out, and I don't see a problem with it. So I think it's a bit disappointing. So yeah, those are a few of the things I think about cashless society. I do think it's inevitable. We're definitely going that way. So expect that to happen in the next 10 to 20 years. And drop a comment in the comment section about what you think about cashless society.